Hi, welcome to tvsarawak.com. You're with me, Nur Shazana Zulhimi, and this is our first headline. Chief Minister, Integrity Pledge optional. Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Adnan Satim has assured that his cabinet ministers will not be forced to undertake pledge like him. It is up to each and every one of them to follow his footsteps in pledging not to allow his immediate family members to apply for state land or logging concessions. Tan Sri Adnan took the pledge only months after taking office and remained committed to the agreement recommended by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. He believed that having his cabinet ministers make a similar pledge would further boost integrity in the management of the state. MACC had made similar suggestions to chief ministers and other state ministers. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Abu Qasim Mohammed had described Tan Sri Adnan's decision as a very positive reaction to boost the integrity of the state's management. Minister of Public Utilities Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan describes the International Water Association World Water Congress as an ideal platform where water professionals share knowledge, collaborate and develop partnerships to deliver solutions that will shape the future of water. The minister is attending the 5-day congress at the Lisbon Convention Centre in Portugal. He informed that the congress is a platform providing opportunity to connect with other water sector professionals and discuss current trends, latest research, guiding strategies and leading practices, besides providing latest findings that allow participants to connect to new developments. The Congress also witnessed several keynote speakers who presented their ideas and papers, such as Jorge Moreira da Silva, Portugal's Minister of Environment, Spatial Planning and Energy, Sue Murphy, CEO of Water Corporation of Western Australia, who talked on transforming utilities to deliver efficient and sustainable water services. Hans Rosling, Professor of International Health, Carolina Institute, and Chairman of Capminda Foundation, who delivered his paper on water as a driving force for development and health benefits. The exhibition featured more than 200 booths set up by countries such as host country Portugal, Germany, China, Malaysia, Australia, United States of America, Ireland, Spain and Japan. Datin Patinggi Datuk Jamilah Anu, wife of Sarawak Chief Minister, has urged the women in the rural areas to involve in volunteerism. By doing so, she said women will get a balance in life and gain valuable experience. Besides, they will be able to keep abreast pertaining to their surrounding areas and be exposed to new ideas on how to improve their communities. She advised women to aim for excellence and success through the full support of their husbands. She added that in order to be able to touch and care for other people, a woman should be able to take care of herself first and be good at managing her family. Datuk Jamilah was launching the Miri Divisional Level Women's Day celebration at Sepupuk Community Hall in Nia, with Team Sarawak Women in Volunteerism Caring Hearts Touching Lives. At the event, some 500 women from the nearby areas thronged the community hall to celebrate the Women's Day with Datuk Jamilah. In conjunction with the celebration, Datuk Jamilah presented the Women Volunteerism Excellence Award for the district to Sharifah Fatimah Tuanku Fauzi. Good news for nature lovers. Santubong Nature Festival will be held on November 8th and 9th in Permai Rainforest Resort. It is jointly organized by Kuching branch of Malaysian Nature Society and Permai Rainforest Resort with the support of Kuching City North Commission, Sarawak Museum and the Sarawak Forestry Corporation. Several activities are scheduled for the 2-day festival, including guided nature walk, star planet gazing and talks. Cycling enthusiasts can take part in a free ride from DBKU to Permai Rainforest Resort on November 8 and Survivor Race on November 9. The festival is aimed at raising public awareness of the rich natural, historical and cultural heritage of Santubong Peninsula, to advocate for a holistic and integrated approach to development and management of the area to safeguard its unique landscape biodiversity and historical assets. It is also to showcase the tourism and recreational potential of the natural and cultural values of Santubong Peninsula and its surroundings, as well as enhance environmental awareness and inculcate a sense of value for the area among the public, especially among the youth. Kuching and Samarahan Panchern Liu Clan Association Youth, together with Great Vision Group, will be holding a blood donation campaign this Sunday, 28 September. The campaign will start from 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the front door of City One Megamall's new wing. The campaign is facilitated by the Federation of Kuching and Samarahan Divisions Chinese Association's Youth Section Sarawak, and also supported by Sarawak General Hospital Blood Bank and Kuching chapter of the Malaysian Red Crescent. It is also being held in response to the call by SJH for more blood supply to its blood bank, as well as to create awareness among the general public on the noble deed of saving lives through blood donation. The organizer also appealed to members of the public to spread the news to their friends and relatives and urged those who intend to donate their blood to be early. And moving on to the Malaysian news, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak said the government was committed in ensuring the betterment of the people's economy as the country moved towards attaining a high-income nation status by 2020. He said this in his closing remarks at the 4th Global Science and Innovation Advisory Council annual meeting at the New York Academy of Sciences. He said the people's wages and household income were important aspects as the country became a developed nation. He assured that even though the government was looking at the macroeconomy of the country and turning Malaysia into a high-income nation, however, the people's economy will not be overlooked. Malaysia, he believed, was on the right track to become a high-income nation with an economic growth of 5.6% last year and 6.3% recorded in the first half of this year, hence emerging as ASEAN's best economic performance country. He added that sustainable development should not be about fiscal finance sustainability only, but also the country's physical sustainability. And now this is an update on the MH17 crash site investigation. Kyiv cannot guarantee safe passage for an international investigation team to enter the site where Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 went down in eastern Ukraine last July because it is unsafe. Datuk Seri Najib said this was conveyed to him by Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk when they met at the United Nations. Kyiv also could not provide a concrete schedule as to when the international probe team could enter the crash site. Datuk Seri Najib said Yatsenyuk had told him that shooting and shelling were going on in eastern Ukraine, although a ceasefire agreement was in place. Malaysia, Datuk Seri Najib said, was concerned over the unclaimed remains of the passengers and crew of the ill-fated flight at the crash site, as well as the forensic evidence there. Flight MH17 crashed in eastern Ukraine on July 17 as it flew from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur with 283 passengers and 15 crew on board. There are 43 Malaysians on board the Boeing 777-200 aircraft, and to date, the remains of 40 had been identified and brought back home. Total approved investments in Malaysia's bio-based industry from 2011 till now has more than doubled to $5.6 billion compared with the target of $2.7 billion set previously, Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak said. The Prime Minister said this was a significant achievement for Phase 2 of the National Biotechnology Policy in view that approved investments had exceeded the target for the 2011 to 2015 period. Bioeconomy has evolved to emerge as a significant contributor in Malaysia's journey towards becoming a high-income developed nation, he said at the Bio International Advisory Panel meeting. Datuk Seri Najib, who is also Finance Minister, expressed optimism that the implementation of the Bioeconomy Malaysia Accelerator Program would have a multiplier effect on the economy and a positive impact on the income and welfare of the people. He added the program, among others, involved stakeholder collaborations with the economic corridors, universities, research institutions, interministerial and financial institutions. The program was introduced to increase the income of urban and rural Malaysians, he said, adding that this would be achieved through the Bioeconomy Community Development Program and technology bridging between bio-based companies and international research and development institutions. It would also be achieved by enhancing bio-entrepreneurship and helping BioNexus status companies to become global players through the BioNexus Go Global program. On the outcome of the Bio-IAP meeting, the Prime Minister said the government would consider including 3 focus areas of bioeconomy into the 11th Malaysian Plan, which are cellular medicine and stem cells, biocosmeceuticals, wellness, and pharma nutrition, and bio-based chemicals. To date, he said, 241 BioNexus status companies continued to thrive despite uncertain market conditions. The Prime Minister said Malaysia would have at least 200 global BioNexus companies by 2020. National car company Proton launched their much-anticipated Proton Iris. Previously known by its codename P230A, the Iris has been tested extensively in Malaysia. Powering the Iris is a set of 2 VVT 4-cylinder petrol engines displacing 1.3 and 1.6 liters, which are available with manual and CVT transmission options. And moving on to global news, prominent Australian Muslims say their community is being unfairly targeted by law enforcement and threatened by right-wing groups as the government's tough new policies aimed at combating radical Islamists threaten to create a backlash. Authorities are on high alert since massive counter-terrorism raids last week thwarted what the government said was a plot by the Islamic State militant group to publicly behead a random member of the public. Prime Minister Tony Abbott is seeking broad new security powers to combat the threat posed by radical groups, and policing has been tightened in public places such as Parliament House, sporting events and airports. Abbott insists the measures are not meant to target Muslims, but Sydney-based criminal defense attorney Adam Huda says it is already clear that they have resulted in racial profiling. He gave as one example 3 bearded Muslim men detained in Sydney on Friday at a rugby game after a spectator told police they were using their mobile phones suspiciously. Earlier this week, Abbott warned Australians that the balance between freedom and security may have to shift, as he outlined broad new powers to crack down on suspected militant activity. U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama urged international leaders to show the courage and commitment of girls who make sacrifices to go to school, like the abducted Nigerian schoolgirls, to provide children around the world the quality education they deserve. She gave the keynote speech at an event dedicated to fighting a global learning crisis and held on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. Universal education for every child in the world is one of several Millennium Development Goals the United Nations has committed to achieving by next year, but which is expected to slip away. The latest data shows that 250 million of the 650 million primary school-age children worldwide cannot read, write or do basic mathematics. According to UNESCO, the world body's educational, scientific and cultural organization, the First Lady recalled Pakistan's Malala Yousafzai, who became a global celebrity after surviving being shot in the head by the Taliban for campaigning for girls' education, and more than 200 Nigerian schoolgirls kidnapped by Boko Haram militants. However, when former British Prime Minister Gordon Brown, now UN Special Envoy for Global Education, made a plea for $6 billion to achieve universal primary school education, he was met with weak applause. UNESCO Director General Irina Bokova warned in June that there is no chance whatsoever that the world will hit the Millennium Development Education target by next year. A UNESCO report issued at the time said that 58 million children aged 6 to 11 were still out of school and that progress in reducing their numbers had been slackening considerably since 2007. David Cameron on Wednesday said that Britain would launch airstrikes on the Islamic State in Iraq. Speaking at the UN General Assembly in New York, the Prime Minister urged the public not to be frozen with fear over the prospect of military action in the aftermath of the 2003 Iraq War. A bombing campaign against the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant ISIL could begin as soon as Thursday night after Mr. Cameron recalled Parliament to vote on military action. At Miliband, the Labour leader has said that his party will back Mr. Cameron in the Commons. The Prime Minister used his speech to set out his plans to destroy the terrorists whom he said were a clear and present danger to the United Kingdom. However, he warned that British involvement in the conflict could last a long time. The Prime Minister also raised the possibility of joining the Americans in airstrikes in Syria. However, he made it clear that there would be a separate debate and vote in the Commons if there are plans to intervene in Syria. Asian stocks rose early on Thursday, cheered by a sizable overnight rebound on Wall Street, while the dollar resumed its advance after upbeat economic data undercut safe haven bids and pushed yields higher. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan. Its index gained a 0.1%, pulling away from a 4-month low touched the previous day when US-led airstrikes in Syria stoked geopolitical concerns. Tokyo's Nikkei and 225 rose 1%, heartened as the yen resumed its weakening against dollar. Wall Street rebounded broadly overnight, buoyed by strong US housing data and with dovish statements from a top Federal Reserve official also helping. That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching tvsarawak.com. I'm Nur Shazana Zulhimi. Have a pleasant day ahead.